Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Now we are going to start with the lipoprotein disorder, which are hyperlipoproteinemia. Hyperlipoproteinemia occur as a result of the genetic or maybe the environmental defect that increase the formation of the lipoprotein, right? That is leading to hyperlipoproteinemia, or reduce the clearance of the lipoprotein from the circulation, leading to hyperlipoproteinemia. And these factors include the biochemical defect in the lipoprotein metabolism, excessive dietary intake of the lipid, and the endocrine abnormalities, and the use of the drug. These are the use of the drug could be the secondary type or the secondary form of the hyperlipoproteinemia. The secondary form of the hyperlipoproteinemia and should be managed initially and by correcting the underlying abnormality, including the modification of the drug therapy when appropriate. But actually this secondary form of the hyperlipoproteinemia, these are commonly caused by the presence of alcoholism, diabetes mellitus, or the uremia, or by the use of the drug. And what are the these of the use of the which drugs? The drugs could be the beta-adrenergic receptor antagonist and oral contraceptive, thiazide diuretics. They could be leading to the secondary form of the hyperlipoproteinemia. Now there is we are going to start with the classification of the hyperlipoproteinemia. These are the types. We are dividing this hyperlipoproteinemia or lipoprotein disorders types into 6 categories, right? These are categories are being mentioned over here, and in which type which lipoprotein is going to be elevated, I mention over here, right? I copy this classification of the hyperlipoproteinemia. I copy this table, that is a table 21:3 type. It is being mentioned these 6 type, and the which the lipoprotein elevation are these here, right? So we are going to correlate with them. So first we are going to start in all of these lipoprotein disorders. These are lipoprotein disorders are present in number of lipoprotein disorders. There may be the genetic defect or maybe the involvement of one gene, or maybe the multiple of the genes are maybe involved, or maybe in some lipid disorders there may be the increased total cholesterol level, or maybe the triglyceride as well, because not only in the hypercholesteremia there is an increased level of the cholesterol. This cholesterol level could be increased in the, for example, in the combined hyperlipidemia, right? It increase could be in the beta lipoproteinemia. So this lipoprotein or the lipid increase is not occur in any one type of that lipoprotein disorder. It could be occur in any of them. So we are going to concern firstly with this all of these, the primary or the genetic hyperlipoproteinemia. Why they are primary? Because I mentioned you previously or just right now that the secondary form of the hyperlipoproteinemia are usually due to the use of the drugs, or it may be due to the caused by the presence of alcoholism, diabetes mellitus, or maybe the uremia, right? So these are all primary type of the hyperlipoproteinemia. Okay. Next to this, in this type we are going to start first. In the type 1, it increased lipoprotein level is chylomicron. In type 2A, the increased lipoprotein level is LDL, low density lipoprotein. And these are 3 types, that is the familial hypercholesteremia, familial defective ApoB100, and the polygenic hypercholesteremia. Let's start with the first, familial hypercholesteremia. Familial hypercholesteremia is divided into heterozygote and the homozygote. And these there is a difference is due to their firstly their cholesterol level elevation. In heterozygote, cholesterol level is 275 to 500 milligram, and homozygote cholesterol level is above 500. There is a difference in the clinical symptoms also, and you have to concern this table 21:4 lipoprotein disorder, right? I copy it from this familial hypercholesteremia, that is the heterozygous and homozygous, right? This LDL in this table, this column is showing the elevation of which lipoprotein and which type of the phenotype of lipoprotein is being present. Phenotype means physically which one is this, right? So we are now considering this heterozygote and the homozygote. Let's start with the heterozygote. Heterozygote, it is usually developed xanthomas in the adulthood and the vascular disease at the 30 to 50 year. That means first we have to read it again. Usually develop xanthomas in adulthood and the vascular disease in the childhood. Okay, now there is a difference of this vascular disease that will be appear in the 30 to 50 year in the heterozygote, and in the homozygote the vascular disease in the childhood. There is a difference of the age as well, so I will explain it. Firstly, keep in mind that in this condition, that is in the familial hypercholesteremia, either it will be the heterozygotes or homozygote, there is a elevation of the LDL. LDL accumulation could be occur due to the increased level of LDL in plasma. Increased level of LDL in plasma could be occur due to the decreased synthesis of LDL receptor in the liver that will capture this LDL floating, or their increased level of LDL in the plasma that will be captured by the LDL receptor. So there may be decreased level of the LDL receptor leads to increased plasma LDL level, or maybe the decreased LDL clearance may lead to increased LDL receptor. So what will happen, this LDL cholesterol start to accumulate in the if it will start to accumulate in the skin, then it may lead to xanthomas, or if it may lead to accumulate in the arteries, then it will lead to atheromas. So that is the reason. But in this homozygote is more severely effective as compared to heterozygote, right? Now the difference between this, as I told you, the cholesterol level as well and the LDL receptor as well. In heterozygote, the LDL enable to bind LDL receptor. That means LDL receptors are present, but there are something defect which is present in the receptor, or maybe in the LDL particle, that will make them unable to bind with the receptors, leading to their accumulation in the plasma, or their level to be increased in plasma. Or it may occur due to the defect of the internalizing LDL receptor complex. That means when the LDL bind with the LDL receptor, there must be the internalizing complex formation between the LDL and the LDL receptor. So there may be the defect there. So this is not leading to the binding, this formation of this complex, and that leading to LDL cholesterol level increase in plasma after normal binding. So normal binding is there, normally LDL is present there, they are binding with them, but there is a defect in the internalizing of the LDL receptor complex, leading to LDL cholesterol level to be increased in plasma. The number of LDL receptor, it is found in 1/2 of the normal number of LDL receptor. That means whatever the receptors number must be in the normal, these are about 1/2 of them, right? And that is the reason these due to the 1/2 of the normal, that means some receptors are present there, but as this number is going to be defect and going to be reduced, leading to cardiovascular events that will be begin after 30 to 50 years. So due to this reason that they are present but continuously defecting and continuously reducing the level of LDL receptor, this cardiovascular events begins after 30 to 50 years. But in this condition, which I have told you, that homozygote is more severely affected, there is no functional LDL receptor. That means that is the reason it will be appear in the there is a vascular disease or vascular events will be start to appear in the childhood. That is the reason that it will be appear in the childhood, and that is the reason it will be appear in the range of age is about 30 to 50 years, right? 30 to 50 years. Now the second type of the family of the type 2A is the familial defective ApoB100. As we have done already, that the apolipoprotein B100 is the apolipoprotein which is being attached with the LDL receptor, and the receptor identify the LDL receptor on the basis of this apolipoprotein B100. And if it is defective and if it is not being present with the LDL, they will not identify this LDL particle, that they are actually the LDL particle. So that is the reason of this defect found in the apolipoprotein B100, leading to the same thing will be happened, that is leading to the heterozygote, and the accumulation total cholesterol level be increased, because LDL will be accumulate there, and that will be that is a familial defective. Here is a familial defective ApoB100 is being there, heterozygote, and the cholesterol level LDL is a type of 2A, right? And that will be occur due to the apolipoprotein B defect, right? The third one is the polygenic. You can understand it, or you can easy to learn that in both of these heterozygote, right? Either by the familiar hypercholesteremia or the familiar defective apolipoprotein B100. In both of them, the cholesterol level is approximately equal with each other, right? But in the homozygote, as I told you, it's more severely effective. It is above 500 milligram per deciliter. Polygenic hypercholesteremia, as by the name is it indicating, there are multiple of the genes are involved or defective in this hypercholesteremic type of hypercholesteremia. In this, total cholesterol level is about 250 to 350. There are multiple genes are being effective or they are being defect. The type of familiar combined hyperlipidemia, in this type of the combined hyperlipidemia, and it is characterized by the elevation in the total cholesterol and the triglyceride, right? There is a total cholesterol 250 to 500 and triglyceride is about 250 to 750, right? It is characterized by their both of their elevation, and it is characterized by the decrease HDL, and increase apolipoprotein, B, and small and dense LDL, right? And it is associated, this condition, it is associated with premature congenital heart disease and may be difficult to diagnose because the lipid level do not consistently display the same pattern in the combined hyperlipidemia. As I told you, lipid, that is a triglyceride and cholesterol, both are lipids, so both are going to be increased. So this is a combined form, and there is the HDL level is decreased, apolipoprotein B level is increased, and there is leading to small dense LDL. So that is the type of combined hyperlipidemia, and keep in mind that it is in the type 2B, and there is a elevation level of LDL as well as VLDL. So the next one is the dis-beta lipoproteinemia. Dis-beta lipoproteinemia is relate with the type 3, in which IDL is a type of LDL1 type, and IDL, as I told you previously, that IDL is formed from VLDL. When the catabolism of the VLDL occur, the ideal or the intermediate density lipoprotein will be formed. So this is the type of 3, in which there is a dis-beta lipoproteinemia that will be occur, right? In this dis-beta lipoproteinemia, you can see that this beta lipoproteinemia, right? And there is a total triglyceride level and total cholesterol level, and there are VLDL, IDL, and the LDL is being normal. Usually it is asymptomatic until vascular disease develop and may have palmar or tubuloeruptive xanthomas, right? And it usually this vascular disease occur after 20 years. In this condition, that is the dis-beta lipoproteinemia, there is the this type of this it is usually occur after about 20 years. The clinical features are xanthomas, striata palmaris. Striata palmaris is the yellowish discoloration of the palmar, that is a palm, not palmar, that is a palmar, and the digital series. And tuberous or the tubuloeruptive xanthomas is the bulbous cutaneous xanthomas, right? Here there is the occurring of the defective structure of the apolipoprotein. If you have an idea about this apolipoprotein E. As I already explained you that this apolipoprotein E, it is a lipoprotein which is being attached with the chylomicron, and it is needed to bind with the chylomicron receptor, because this receptor identify this apolipoprotein E. When this structure is being defective, ultimately there will be no catabolism of the chylomicron. No catabolism of the chylomicron, ultimately it will lead to increased level of this increased level of the chylomicron, as well as there is the increased level of the, due to this defective structure of the apolipoprotein E does not allow the normal hepatic surface receptor binding of the remnant particles derived from the chylomicron and the VLDL, right? VLDL, that means VLDL leads to formation of IDL. IDL is the intermediate density lipoprotein, and the aggravating factors such as obesity, diabetes and the pregnancy may promote the overproduction of the condition. If these are present, they may promote the overproduction of the apolipoprotein B, that is apolipoprotein B containing lipoproteins, right? So this type of is occur basically the defective structure of apolipoprotein E, leading to the increased level of IDL, which is the converted form of the VLDL. After the VLDL catabolism, the IDL is being formed, and there will lead to increased level of IDL. Next is the sixth one, and sixth, that is the related with the type 4. We will discuss it on the next slide, or on the next board, on the next time we will discuss it, but just leaving right now it here, and we are going to switch toward the number type 5 type, which is being divided into familial LPL deficiency. Here there is a triglyceride level is above 750, and familial ApoC2 deficiency, where there is a triglyceride level is above 750. One I mention over here, because this condition, that is a familial LPL deficiency and familial ApoC2 deficiency, is also being found in the type 1, where there is only the chylomicron elevation, but while in the type 5, chylomicron as well as VLDL elevation will be there. As in this this type of the familial LPL deficiency, as you have an idea that LPL is the lipoprotein lipase. What is the function of this lipoprotein lipase? Is to catabolize chylomicron. Chylomicron, if it will not being catabolized, leading to accumulation of the chylomicron, so that is leading to increased chylomicron and the corresponding increase of the triglyceride in the plasma, so that is leading to increased triglyceride level of above 750. If it is type of this one type, familial LPL deficiency, then there will be the VLDL is normal. But when it is familial LPL deficiency is related with the type 5, then their VLDL is increased, right? And the chylomicron as well. In the familial ApoC2 deficiency, triglyceride level is increased. In this one, we can say this, in this one, familial ApoC2 deficiency. If you have an idea that as I told you, apolipoprotein C2 is a lipoprotein that is involved in the activation of lipoprotein lipase. When it will be deficient, or it will be defective, or will be less than its normal range, that means there will be no activation of the lipoprotein lipase, and there will be no catabolism of the chylomicron, and ultimately that will leading to chylomicron level to be increased. So in this condition, particularly the apolipoprotein C2 deficiency occur. In this familial LPL deficiency, the apolipoprotein C2 deficiency may be normal, or it may be not being deficient, but in this condition it is particularly this condition is due to the deficiency of apolipoprotein C2, right? Now the last one, the type 4, which is in which the VLDL level is being increased, that is a type of familial hypertriglyceridemia. In this, the triglyceride level is about 250 to 750. So we are going to discuss this. As I told you that this type in this type, what we are going to do with this as I mentioned in this last board, that is a VLDL type 4 familial hypertriglyceridemia. Actually it's a type 4, it is hyperlipoprotein, right? It is found in the adulthood, in the obese person, in the diabetic person having hyperuricemic, and it is secondary to alcohol, and it is aggravated by the stress, progestin, oral contraceptive, and thiazide diuretics and beta blocker can aggravate them. Two genetic form of this type 5 of the hyperlipoprotein. Actually this type is actually a hyperlipoprotein, right? Two types of them. That is, first one is the familial hypertriglyceridemia. This is familial hypertriglyceridemia. This is, I mention over here their name, but it is actually the one of the genetic form of the hyperlipoproteinemia, right? This is related with the type 5. Two genetic form, familial hypertriglyceridemia, which not have great risk of the premature congenital heart disease, and the another genetic form is the familial combined hyperlipidemia. There is an increased risk of the cardiovascular disease, right? So these are the two types. So this is all about the disease condition, but you have to concern this table as well. This table as a 21:5 secondary causes of the lipoprotein abnormalities: hypercholesteremia, hypertriglyceridemia, I'm not going to read it out. You have to read and learn all of them, the causes, secondary causes of the lipoprotein abnormalities, and what should be the normal level of the classification of the total LDL, HDL cholesterol and the triglyceride. What it should be, that is the total cholesterol must be less than 200 milligram. It is desirable, and it is borderline. What should be that? So these level you should have an idea. If you have the normal level idea about this cholesterol, LDL, HDL and triglyceride, then it will be easy to learn that at which level its increase leads to hyperlipidemia. And the table which you have to concern as well more about this is that 21:7. It's a major risk factor exclusive of the LDL cholesterol that modify the LDL goal. These are the age, family history, and cigarette smoking, and what are these. So you have to read it out as well. And the table 21b, it's very table 21:8, right? This is also very good table. That is showing the LDL cholesterol goal, and this is, for example, there's a risk categories. LDL goal, what should be the goal we have to achieve? LDL level at which to initiate the LDL level at which to consider the drug therapy, right? So all of these you have to consider this. Next to this, classification. Now next, this is also a very important and very 21 table 21:9. There's a classification of the total and the low density lipoprotein. That's very good. And next to this, we have to start with the treatment of the hyperlipidemia. What should be the drug outcomes? All of these non-pharmacological therapy. In the non-pharmacological therapy, what should be the components we should take, all of them, and what should the recommended intake of these components it should be. And next to this, after the completion of this non-pharmacological therapy, in next class inshallah we will start with the pharmacological therapy with the number of drugs. Thank you very much.